conversation.
Well, I think the issue is that people. It's the interesting. It's the spark. It's just a.
Yeah.
What are we looking at? My cloud lifter.
Yeah.
Little blue box. So that's a cloud lifter. So basically, what it does is it helps. So you have your natural gain or your natural amplification in your like interface, and that cloud lifter gives you another like couple boosts of gain.
Oh, okay.
And it helps
without adding fuzz and buzz.
Yeah, exactly. It basically just kind of.
Nice. A booster box.
It's a booster box. Yep. It's exactly what it is. It's just a booster box. Now, unfortunately, that thing is expensive.
Yeah, those.
It's not. It's pricey. And you can buy a single one for like $150, but that one was about $250 because it's double too. So you can buy a single one, but I wanted a double because we have two people. So yeah, I spent $1,300, $1,300 or $1,400 buying all the podcast equipment.
Yeah, that's about the bare minimum for any kind of studio.
That's exactly what it was. It's about the bare minimum. I think you can buy kits, and I was basically every time I looked at the kits, it's like you can buy a kit for like $700 or $800, but they basically said this is at your like lowest quality.
They're gonna feel hollow and empty and break on you within a year.
I was like, no, I don't want that, man. I want right out of the gate. I want to feel like this is worth something.
Right.
And that's why I spent the $230 or $240 on each microphone I got. And yeah, I am happy with what I bought.
Yeah, this shit's awesome.
Out of everything I've done in my life and I spent money on and I've had a partner with or whatever, the podcast has been consistent. And that was the biggest thing I was worried about the most was consistency. It's all about consistency.
Well, hence why I'm here.
Right? Exactly. So I can have something to put out.
Right.
I told you, man. You're at the barrel. You're at the bottom of the barrel. Dead fish at the bottom of the barrel. No.
The only thing I hated about that is when you said JK. I was like, fuck you. That was funny. You didn't even tell me you were just kidding.
I didn't know how serious you could take it.
Oh, man. I suppose, yeah. It feels like we know each other pretty well, but it's still, time-wise, it's too soon.
Basically, we've rushed into this relationship, man. We've rushed into it.
Oh, shit.
We've only known each other for a couple months.
That means it's inevitable. We're going to have a terrible ending to it.
Statistics. Statistics show.
Oh, shit.
You know, I don't know. Every once in a blue moon, you come by somebody that you just fucking have chemistry with.
Yeah.
And you tend to find that those people... Martin Short, I use this in the Martin Short thing. Martin Short says that he grew up learning that there are a few people that come by that you know that you want in your life, and you make the effort.
Yeah.
And I think that's a true thing. I've never really thought about it. It's not like I haven't talked about it or been aware of it, but it's like I never really thought about it in that kind of perspective that... Yeah, you'll make it work if it's worth it.
Yeah, you're right. I never put it into words before, but in hindsight, I remember those moments and those people. And like, holy shit! Like,
I'm notorious. You can ask anybody. You can ask Aaron. I'm notorious. I probably admitted to this. I'm notorious of moving forward and leaving everybody else behind.
Yeah.
I don't hold on to friends. What I do is I call them friends, but they're basically people that I once knew that I don't want to have anything to do with anymore because what benefits do I hold from them? And unfortunately, I know it sounds really shady and really low, but what am I getting out of this person? How do they benefit me in some way? That's what I look at friendship as. Because I'm not stagnant. I don't sit comfortably. I don't sit there and I'm not complacent. I'm consistently looking and moving forward in my life with everything I do. Whether it's my passions, my hobbies, my interests, my just whatever. I don't sit still. And I'm not satisfied with complacency because to me, complacency means laziness. It develops a sense of laziness. And I'm not okay with lazy. I'm the farthest person from being lazy. And unfortunately, I view my friendships the same way. Sad to say. And even Aram has been one of those guys where we've had a gap. We've had a good year gap or almost 2 years where we basically never talked to each other or hung out. Every once in a while, he would send me a text, and maybe a couple days later, if I'm feeling up to it, I'll respond. But that's because it's just who I am. It's a state of mind or it's the position I am in life. And now that I'm getting older, now that I'm starting to slow my life down and I have a family and stuff like that, things are taking a different turn, but I still have those feelings of, if I make friends, is it worth my time? Is it worth my energy? Is it worth anything? Because I'm not there to have a stagnant relationship with anybody. It's not going to do anybody any good.
Yeah.
I have a cat for that reason.
Yep, that makes sense.
Does it sound cold and bitter?
No, it's.
I think it does. I think it's very cold
Well,
and bitter.
yes, it is. I mean, it is, but there's no. That's the best way to say it.
I'm
Get
honest with
straight
you.
to the
I'm
point.
honest about
Yeah.
it, though. I'm not hiding it. I've never hidden that kind of shit.
It's just. Yeah.
It's basically like, hey, if you can accept this, then yeah, we'll do fine.
Right.
Like my buddy Devin, right? We talked about him a little earlier, and like he sent me a text yesterday, and I still haven't responded back yet. But it's more of like, I think it's probably been 3 months since we've even sent a text to each other, and it's probably we haven't seen each other for almost a year.
Yeah.
So, but he's like my little brother. I don't know. I'm just a bitter old man.
Yeah, I just have a lot of responses to that, and it's just gonna end up being.
Tell me these responses, Jason. Tell me what you're feeling.
I don't know if there's a point in getting into it. It's just gonna happen how it's gonna happen. I'm just happy I met you now.
Yeah.
Opposed to at an earlier age, I totally would have been left in the dust. Because I'm lazy, but I've been more. I don't know. I just want to get shit done and move forward more than ever in my life lately. The last 2 years, I'm trying to make changes in that, less stagnant or whatever.
Why is that? What happened, Jason? What happened to you?
I just feel like I'm gonna die tomorrow.
That's a good.
Like I'm so unhealthy. All my laziness is catching up to me, and I just want to get some shit done that's been in my head for a while. Writing, music, all that shit. This shit. I don't know.
I've helped with that.
But then also,
I've given you 2 bucket lists.
Yeah, right?
I don't know about bucket lists, but I've given you 2 things.
Absolutely.
I've introduced you and got you to play D&D, which I mentioned today to Karina and Stacy and Dylan that I have created a stronger bond between father and son.
Yeah.
Accomplishment.
Yeah, because, like I said, Taekwondo, that shit was there. And then all of a sudden I was like, all right, what do we do together now besides like the 2-hour conversation we have while we cook? And we don't like to like watch shows or movies together. We like to rather watch them alone because we actually, what's the point of watching it? Like we both don't talk during movies and shit. So we might as well watch what we want to watch on our own. If that, we justified it some weird way, and then, so yeah, this, absolutely, yeah, it's re-established that bond, and I just like to see him brighten up and get all giddy and shit.
I guess that's one thing that I always say.
And when he does awesome, and it makes me giddy to see him here hold his own with you and shit like that.
No, I mean your son's 14 years old, and it's hard to believe that he's 14 years old. In fact, I the last couple times, so like the first session we had, I told you, like I try to respect the swearing thing.
Yeah.
But the last couple times, I let it slip because I forget that he's only 14 years old. Like it's incredible on how well he holds his own.
Yeah.
But this is kind of his world.
It's true.
This is what he's comfortable with. He likes D&D and he loves it. Well, he loves D&D.
Yeah.
And I'm just happy that I was able to help influence him in wanting to do his own
the homebrew shit. Yeah.
But I'm also happy that I was able to instigate and help collaborate that you feeling the way, what you were just saying.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah.
Well, it's apparently, if I'm reading this right, for 2 guys who have had daddy issues, it's kind of a
big deal.
A big deal. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely, you're right.
And so, from one father to another father in an extremely different age gap, it's just, I don't know. It's heartwarming, I guess, to really know that when you say, oh yeah, I was just giddy, I was smiling, I was this and that, I was so happy and this and that about your son who's able to hold his own with adults and stuff. And
right.
it's just not something that I guess you hear or I've heard.
It's a very unique situation all around in a couple different angles and aspects.
Yeah,
levels.
And without diving into your personal life and stuff like that about the situation, you have a very unique situation as it is.
Yeah.
And it's very I mean, it's very sad, but it's very impressive
that we came. It's as well it is I don't know, as going as well as it is after the fact. I don't know. Yeah.
No, man, it's
yeah.
I'll drink to you there, buddy. I'll drink to you.
Yeah.
Cheers to you. Yep. I think me and you get along just fine.
Yeah. I don't worry.
I think I've kind of talked to you about this, but I've kind of talked to Kayla about this, and she's never seen me. Kaylee is one of those that she's very independent. Mm-hmm. She can be just fine on her own.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what makes our relationship great because we both can be that way, but we both love each other. Like, we're best friends.
Yeah.
She is my best friend. And it's a great feeling, but she, I think, gets happy to see me have friends.
Ladies do that. They do that.
And it's sad because it's like, yeah, I don't have very many friends, and she knows that, and it's just, I don't know. So it's when I come home and I'm talkative and giddy about talking about shit that we've talked about, which is just nothing. It's nothing
right? I know, exactly.
Nothing
just
at all.
Just the fact that you're doing that.
Yeah. Just the fact that I've connected with somebody, I'm like, hee. I'm like, yeah.
Or what you say that one time you told me just the fact that you're talking about work or some shit. You were like, she called you out or something.
Yeah. I just came home.
I've totally been in that situation before a handful of times, like we've said.
Yep. And she just, I don't know. I know that she gets happy about the fact that I'm happy. So that's why I've, not to say that my relationship's perfect, but it is ideal.
If it was perfect, I'd say fuck writing a script. You fucking make a reality show right now, sir.
Right. It'd probably be pretty boring.
Perfect is boring. What am I saying?
Yep. Yeah. I have been recording. We should probably get going. It's been 12 minutes since we were talking. So,
we were recording?
Yes, we were. Oh, shit. This entire time. This is extra material. I'm just gonna leave it.
All right.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. This is Timothy Bennett. Welcome to Being Banter Bros Goes to the Movies, and this is another special episode because we have Jason here, and he was on a previous one, and we're doing another episode because that's what we do.
Yeah, why not?
Yep.
Hello again.
Yeah.
Glad to be back. This is fun. Let's try it one more time.
Right. Our plan, let's see if we can stick to the plan because I don't know how well that works. If anybody's listened to me and Aram talk, we go on tangents and we sidetrack left and right like it's fucking butter. And
I think it will go well with your last episode or the one before. the John Carpenter part 2 one, or both of them. Anyways,
but we're gonna try talking about Cobra Kai. So Netflix. Oh, excuse me, not Netflix. Sorry, it's YouTube that started it.
Yes.
So Cobra Kai, if anybody doesn't know, is a continuation of a present-day Karate Kid. Now, anybody who's of 30 years and older may remember the Karate Kid films, not the fucking one with Jackie Chan and Jaden Pickett Smith, not Jaden. Jaden's, what the fuck is their child's name?
Those famous people and their son.
The Will Smith's son, Jaden Smith, I think is his name. Yeah. I don't even know fucking his name. The only good thing about that goddamn film was Jackie Chan, and I felt super bad for him. So,
yeah, wow, I relate to that feeling.
Anyway, let me compose myself. We're going to talk about Cobra Kai. It was a continuation. It's about 20 years later, 30 years later. 30 years later. Fuck.
Yeah.
It was in the 80s when that came out. So, starring
William Zabka?
William, that's
Ralph
it.
Macchio?
Williams, and then Ralph Macchio.
All
yeah.
right, cool.
William
I'm doing
Zabka.
Yeah.
Zabka.
Zabka, I want to say.
I should probably just look this fucking
Zabka.
shit up. Wow. It's good. It's good. It's fucking good.
It's good. I heard about it when it was on the YouTube, one of the first YouTube original series they were trying. I didn't take it serious. Nobody took it serious because YouTube is one of those last platforms to be taken serious, it seems.
It's true.
And people are being proven wrong left and right. We can get into comedian discussions about that, but let's not. And then, so season 3, it came to Netflix after 2 seasons on YouTube.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, well, of course I'm going to watch it. I don't have to pay any extra.
Yep.
So,
yeah, because at the time that it was on YouTube, you had to have a subscription to
it was
YouTube
a whole
Red.
other. Red, no, I don't know.
I thought it was
never
I
took
think
it
it's-
serious.
Yeah,
but
yeah, exactly. I thought it was like YouTube Red. I was like, oh, YouTube, because it was like basically the first YouTube series.
Yes.
Like actual like
yep.
big time
I don't even think there's any
dropping
more.
names. Yeah, I mean, well, no, Jumper. They did Jumper.
Oh, okay.
And I never gave that a shot.
But the way I thought it was like, oh, one more streaming service with only one show I want to watch for this many dollars a month. Go fuck yourself. No.
Right.
So yeah.
Listen to our last podcast to get more in depth in that because we kind of talked about streaming a little bit.
Yeah, we did. But as soon as by the end of the first episode, I loved it. The writing, the simplicity, the fantasy of it, the fighting between the kids is brutal as fuck. The lack of parenting reminds me of the 80s.
God,
oh
yes.
my God. Everything about it reminds me of the 80s. Actually, the blanket statement, they pay homage.
The biggest thing about this show is the Karate Kid was in the 80s. I don't remember what year necessarily. I'll look it up real quick. But so the Karate Kid was basically, it was 84. So the Karate Kid came out in 84, and it was about this kid, this Italian kid that comes from New Jersey that comes to California
after losing his father.
Yep, and him and his mom moved in and migrated to California, and then he tries to integrate into a school, which then you realize that there's this bully and / jock / athlete kind of thing, but it wasn't like a football star. It wasn't. No, that's not how they took this. It was a bully who was a karate champion. And
in a No Mercy dojo.
No Mercy dojo.
Which
means no fucks given.
Yeah. And that's,
attack, strike first, no mercy, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And
so that was a story from the 84 thing, but when they did the continuation on Cobra Kai, they flipped that shit. They made Ralph look like the antagonist, is that what it is? And then
protagonist is the one who the story is based on. He's the main character. Antagonist is the one who antagonizes, which means creates conflict. So, gives a reason.
Ralph becomes the villain instead of Johnny. Sweep the leg, Johnny. And then I thought that was a good take on it. And then Johnny's lack of William Zabka's character in Cobra Kai, his lack of
basically
connection
he isn't present.
Exactly. Yes.
He's still living in the past.
In the 80s.
He's still living in the 80s. He's still, for whatever reason, as a 40-year-old man, believes that he's hot shit, and he deserves the cool kick-ass shit that he did when he was 17 years old. How old were they?
I don't know, but
that's
when you got to stop taking the show serious and lean into fantasy, because they use that approach to do all these PC culture jokes that land so well.
They do.
Because of his delivery.
They do.
I don't know if I would like this show without him in it.
Yeah, like, his ignorance of modern technology
so
was great. He's like, I already got a cell phone or whatever, and then he's like, it's a flip phone too, I think.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I'm all about the internet shit. And like, this is a present thing. This is like today. Like, this is like, maybe a week ago, but that you're dealing in real time. And yet this guy, who his name is Johnny, is stuck in like this ignorance.
Yep. And he wants to make change because of some kid that needs help, and
some
that
kid that
what
moved
he
across
saw
the
getting
street.
bullied. He never would have interacted if the kid didn't hit his car.
Well, no, yeah, it all started with a pizza.
Yep.
It all started with his I think it was it a Firebird? Was it a Camaro?
One of those
it was
ready.
a Firebird. Was it a Firebird?
Yeah,
it was a Trans Am. It was a
car guy,
Firebird
but
Trans Am. It was a
seems
red
like
Firebird
yeah.
Trans Am. A beautiful car from the 80s.
Yes.
I always wanted one. And he was eating gas station pizza as a drunk.
As a homeless person walks by and thinks they can relate to him, he's like, I'm not homeless. This is my car.
Yep.
Like, I don't know why that's funny.
It's brilliant. But either way, he sees this kid getting bullied. He's getting his ass kicked by some bullies who tried to buy beer, and he like spilt beer or whatever. And it turns out that this will be the apprentice. This will be like the
Padawan.
The Padawan. Yep. If you want to go Star Wars.
Yeah. What was the point of that correction? You're right.
Not everybody knows what a Padawan is.
Oh.
Yeah,
I think the
right?
listeners to your shit, maybe. No,
I hope they would, but not everybody does. Like, Dylan. We had this conversation with Dylan. I ain't even getting into it. Okay.
Yeah, he does not. But yeah, it started with that. He becomes the assistant, and then Johnny teaches Miguel, the name of this kid, to not be a little bitch. Because really, he approaches it as like, I'm gonna help you because you're in a very sad, like, you're always gonna get picked on if this is how you fucking live your life.
He uses the consistent term, you're being a pussy.
Yep.
Stop being a pussy.
Yeah.
I'm not against the word pussy, but I know a lot of people are. So be aware of what this means. It's not sexual, it's just
being a weak ass person.
Bitch.
All right, cool. This is my first podcast. Wasn't comfortable saying that. Bitch.
This is my second season.
No,
I ain't got no fucks given.
Nice. But yeah,
I haven't had fucks since I was since '87. And guess what? That was when I was born.
But yeah, the comedy, the fantasy, it just blows me away. And the twist between the main characters, Ralph Macchio and William Zabka, how they make Ralph, and they do flashbacks of the 3 movies so far.
Yes, they do.
And
they do them so appropriately too, because like like you said, the 3 movies later in each season, like especially when the main like Ralph goes, what's his fucking name? Danny.
Oh yeah, Danielson. Yeah,
Danielson. There you go. When he goes back to Japan, which I don't, we're skipping ahead. Spoiler.
Yeah.
He starts to go back to like, was it the
Okinawa?
second movie? Yeah. When he goes to the second movie, and it was like, oh god, that's right. Anybody who's seen the movies will will definitely be able to like relive or at least remember. God,
and they do it so right.
Remember.
They do bring you back to that moment when you watch the second movie, which I didn't really care about it, but they bring you back to that moment and all those characters. Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah.
The Okinawa?
Yeah.
There's 3 characters. The lady.
The only 3, yeah.
The dude
well,
that
4
he
if you want
fought.
to talk about Sensei, but he wasn't, because he was alive in the second film, but he wasn't in this film.
I guess they read his letters. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Well, the character, like, what's his name?
Mr. Miyagi.
Mr. Miyagi. Thank you. Oh my god, I can't believe I forgot. Mr. Miyagi. So he's like he's like the 4th character who's in ghost form. He's the present form.
Oh, there you go. Yep.
Because that was basically the only reason why he's there is because he needed to rechannel himself back into what he started, like the whole karate and Mr. Miyagi was.
And to save his car business.
Well, yeah, it was there. He went on a business trip, but he basically went back down memory lane.
That went to shit right away. And then he went down memory lane because he had nothing else to do and time to kill.
Well, no, it was important. He needed that reconnection. He needed to reconnect himself with why he was doing what he was doing to begin with. He was on a soul-searching mission to find out whether or not doing this karate dojo was worth doing, if it was the right thing to do. And whatever reason he thought that he needed that spiritual quest to reconnect with Mr. Miyagi back in his own, village. And then he found that it changed, because that was a whole disappointing thing, was that the whole village changed. Yeah. And it was like, what is this? This is not the same. And he got discouraged, feeling like the essence of the spirit of Mr. Miyagi and where he came from and where he went to in the second film wasn't there anymore, until he reconnected with his enemy.
Right.
And that was a bizarre fucking thing.
How that lady made that happen.
So awkward.
God, Ralph Macchio or Danielson is so judgmental on first impressions in this show. It's fucking part of the problem, and he learns so much from it. It's fun to watch. And this is a pinnacle of those moments.
Yes. Now we jumped ahead we
did.
Two seasons, because this is the third season that happened. Anyway, let's go back to the first season just a little bit.
Okay.
So we, in the first season of Cobra Kai, we basically are aware. If anybody understands the Karate Kid, then you'll understand this, and this is just the way that we're going to talk. So deal with it. We're talking about William Zabka, who is Johnny. What the fuck is his last name? Johnny something.
I don't know. I always call him Sweep the Leg Johnny. I don't know.
Sweep the leg? Oh,
yeah. You know,
it just says Johnny in here. God damn it. It doesn't have a last name?
I don't know.
Apparently, it doesn't have a fucking last name. Johnny Lawrence.
Oh, yeah, it is. Definitely Johnny Lawrence. Yeah.
Isn't that like a Lawrence brother? You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Lawrence brothers from like Disney and shit? They had Joey Lawrence. You had, oh, no, it was Joey, Matt.
That sounds like Blossom.
I think he was in Blossom.
I don't know. Never been a Disney guy. Let's not.
right. Anyway.
Or, I mean, that kid shit.
So you have, it's Johnny Lawrence is the character's name, who's William Zabka. And then you have Danielson, who is Ralph Macchio. In the first season of this, I guess, revisited world, Johnny is basically a poor bro
at the bottom.
He's at the bottom. He's working as like basically a maintenance guy who like odd and end jobs who can't even do that right.
He gets fired in the first
10
minutes.
Yeah, he's like living in a shit apartment, and he's trying to like install a TV in some rich bitch houses, and
does it on the wrong wall.
According to, but we weren't privy.
I agree with his argument.
Yeah, I do too. He basically says, "You're acting like a bitch," and then she's like, "You called me a what?"
Yeah.
And he gets fired. But
yeah,
and it actually comes back too. I like that when he started trying to online dating. It was funny.
Oh yeah, right. When they see each other again, they're like, "Wow, you look familiar."
You look familiar.
Yeah.
You put my TV on the wrong wall. I was like, well, you were acting like a bitch.
He's like, like, I didn't call you a bitch. I said you stopped bitching at me. Something like that. But yeah.
Johnny Lawrence is basically at the bottom of the barrel, and he's a drunk.
He goes for a drunk drive, which he was famous in the 80s.
Yep.
Fucking loud music, fucking giving a fuck and going through these flashbacks and memories of the tournament, which I thought were funny as fuck and powerful and poignant.
He never moved on.
True. Exactly why they're... Yes.
Yep.
And then as he's parked out at the... Probably a school, football yard, or... He went back to somewhere... in his past. It felt like a field, a sports field or whatever. Danielson's daughter is involved in these three...
they run into him.
They hit his car.
Yeah.
And he gets pissed.
It was her and two popular chicks.
That's how they connect Ralph and him.
Yep.
Danielson and
which was
Johnny
like a
Lawrence
19...
again.
I don't know, something Trans Am. Firebird Trans Am, I believe.
Yeah.
I feel like it's fucking Trans Am.
I want to believe you. I'm not a car guy. I can't keep up with you on this information.
I feel like it's Trans Am.
But it's definitely one of those red 80s cars that you wanted back in those days or saw on TV a lot.
Yep. Yeah. Muscle car. Kick ass. You only had like 3 of them. Camaro, Chevelle, and a fucking Trans Am.
Oh.
So back in the 80s at least.
Since we're on the car thing, The new car he gets, is that a Camaro?
Yes.
Okay. That's
it's a brand new. It's like a 2000 something Camaro.
So I want to say you're right on the Trans Am. The first one is Trans Am, and then he gets the second one is definitely Camaro because I like that body style a lot.
See, I'm a sucker for the older ones, man. I don't know.
His new car does look silly, but just as cool as he pulls it off.
It does look pretty badass because it's flat. It's a matted black with a bright yellow and Cobra.
Yeah.
For Cobra Kai right on the side. I'm like, damn, that is pretty badass. But anyway, we digress.
So they get the accident happens with the cars, and hence that's how Ralph and Williams reconnect in the show.
Yeah, is because Ralph Macchio's daughter is the one who was a friend with these people who ran into this car, and they think that he's homeless too. I think that's the greatest part. They just like, we ran into some homeless car, some homeless dudes or whatever.
Smacking on the window, yelling,
yeah, he's like
and
crazy
they're scared and drive away.
But he's drunk, so what do you expect?
Oh, he was annihilated. It was awesome.
It's kind of the motif of his go-to. Drinking his suppression away.
Yeah, I mean, the first time you see him wake up, he drinks a warm beer next to a bed, gets disgusted by it, but then grabs the next one open and warm next to that one he just tossed against the wall, and then he feels refreshed, like, oh, that was the right one. The other one was, what's the fucking difference?
Every time he wakes up, he goes to the fridge and he grabs now the Coors. Maybe I'm the only fucking person in the world that thought about this, but the Coors that he drinks is ridiculous because it's Coors Classic.
The boutique or something like that, but it's not light.
No, it's not light. Yeah, it's Coors Classic.
Yeah.
Like, it's supposed to be premium Coors, which is like I don't know, an oxymoron in my opinion. Right? It's still piss water, but he drinks like classic. It's old Coors because it reminds him of he's basically the jock that never left high school. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
But he lives in this like fucking shit apartment, and this family moves in across the courtyard or whatever, and he ends up not only going into Ralph Macchio Danielson's car dealership. So the roles have flipped. So Johnny in high school was a rich boy. He came from money because of his stepfather. His mom married this wealthy, rich ass person. Yep. So he was already at the top of the tier. And then Ralph Macchio's character Danielson came from New Jersey, who was in poverty. Basically, they lived at the bottom of the tier. They were basically scraping by.
Yeah.
Now the roles have reversed in their 40s. Ralph Macchio owns like 6 dealerships, and he's fucking rich, and he's got a lot of money, but yet Johnny Lawrence is just fucking at the bottom of the barrel, a shit broke ass drunk with nothing. And this is where Jason was mentioning earlier that that Johnny Lawrence is basically the good guy.
But he has that,
and Ralph is kind of the bad guy in this time because the primary focus is on Johnny.
Absolutely, because that's where all the redemption story is. Because he meets Miguel, trains him, opens up Cobra Kai. I mean, even
he gets his shit together a little bit,
while, step by step. Step by step, small. He's
still lost in the 80s, but he's growing.
At first, he's teaching Miguel what he was taught before, and then he's kind of like, well, it might be a little too harsh, so he tones down the Cobra Kai methods, and he learns step by step in small increments, and it's just such a fun ride, and it
is admirable.
Yes,
because like you see this guy change. Mm-hmm. Like he's obviously not changing overnight, but you see this subtle change, and that subtle change. This is where the writing.
Yep.
Is impeccable. It's just incredible on how well the writing is for the characters, because the characters are driving the show. It has nothing to do with the world. It has to do with, because it's present time, it has to do with the characters and how they involve and how they deal with things and how they interact and stuff. But the writing is impeccable.
Isn't it? Especially with the amount of characters they have in this show. There's got to be at least double digits, like 10 to 12, like that they like throw in little bits here and there.
At least
obviously
10,
there's like a core 6 or whatever,
but they have at least 10 that you're like upfront aware of.
Yep.
And right away you see this evolving Johnny, becoming a stable human being. He becomes an adult. Is basically what it is. But he's not an adult. He's still a child adult.
Oh yeah, that's why I relate to him so well. and then you watch Ralph Macchio come from this over-evolved, high status thing where he's a little too arrogant and owns the world mentality, and then he kind of declines and they kind of meet in the middle by skipping ahead till season 3. But you know what I mean. You're watching them.
Some of the best episodes is where they meet a middle ground, where they understand each other. And they find a connection. That is some of the best episodes. That
bar scene? Yeah.
Well, no, not even the car scene.
When they stop at the bar. But
when they stop at the car, but it starts... they stop at the bar, but it starts in the car.
Yeah.
So they stop at the bar, and then they start in the car with the music. So Johnny, Speedway. So Johnny's starting to drive that Camaro, I think is what it was, and he's like, "I'm gonna test drive this shit and whatever." And Ralph's like, "Fine, whatever." And God, I'm mixing names with characters. Anyway, so Danielson's in the passenger, and Johnny's driving the Camaro, and Johnny turns the radio, one of them turns the radio on, and it's like...
It's Johnny and his Radio Speedwagon,
I think it's Radio...
And they just have this awkward moment where they finally relate on something.
Yeah. You like these guys? It's like, oh, absolutely.
What man doesn't, or something like that?
Yeah, who doesn't like it? Like, all right, and that's a moment you find a spark, a connection, and the bromance starts.
Yeah.
It's a very subtle, under the rug, hidden in a closet, down in dash, hidden spot where you keep your porn kind of romance, but it comes to shine,
right?
Because a couple episodes, or at least a season later, it reignites when they're at the restaurant, the Mexican restaurant, and they start dancing with the ladies, and they come together
once again with this roller coaster story, this fun ride. They'll have moments where they connect and they get on the same page, but then they have these dramatic moments where they just don't talk enough and everything blows back up and they hate each other again.
It's assumptions, it's ego, it's...
And then
one
even
the
that car bar story, their first spark, which is why I love Ralph Macchio's wife. I can't call him Daniel's son.
What's her fucking name?
I don't know her name, but she is perfect when it comes to logical, down to earth human. She's like, really, you guys are gonna fight, or like, she'll just really like point blank it.
Except for she's really good at just fucking
bringing them down to reality.
Yeah,
in a funny way.
I will admit though that when towards the end, season 3, some shit goes down, like. Some fighting goes on school and stuff like that, and I think she's the moment. This is the moment where she kind of comes out. It was like, karate was a bad idea. You shouldn't have done it at the beginning with this and this and this and this and this. And I think it was the moment where you realize, like, was it though? Like, it's not the karate as it is. It has to do with the mentoring. It has to do with but. Basically, what she does is she redeems herself by saying no, she's not the one. It was the
that didn't seem right.
The high school chick. What's the high school chick? When she comes back, she basically says like, you two need to like deal with your shit and just get over it. It's your guys' battle, or whatever.
And you're bringing the kids into it too much.
That bring the kids into it.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my god, it was the most beautiful thing.
Yeah.
It was the most beautiful thing because of season 3 or the end of season 3. I think it was season 3.
Season 2 when he falls out the stairs.
No, I'm talking about like the end of season 3 when spoiler. When they come together.
Oh yes.
That was the most beautiful thing.
I'm so excited. And I hope they start the next season or episode right after that. And they're shooting it right now, season 4.
Oh, God. It was the most beautiful thing that you could ever ask for in a series. Like, if I know me and me and Jason aren't doing the justice of this show. It is phenomenally written. It is one of those shows that takes you on every ride that you want and gives you every dramatic pause and moment that you want and gives you every nostalgic moment that you want. it is literally, basically right now, in my opinion, the perfect show to be watching.
Because even when it's terrible, it makes fun of itself. It knows it's being terrible. It knows it's being over the top, cheesy or campy or whatever it is.
Absolutely.
And it comes so in and out with quick jokes and quick story pillars to make the story go forward. They just bring small things.
It's a roller coaster.
Like
unpredictable roller coaster.
Exactly. And yeah, I don't know. And then the true villain is Kreese or whatever.
Yes, John Kreese.
That guy, how he comes in subtly and then now he's
Which
become
is the exact same actor.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. They don't replace anybody.
I know. I feel bad for guy. It's hard to watch him walk, let alone kick. But I'm glad to see his face. He's the original. Yeah.
So the original mentor that Johnny had back in Cobra Kai. So Cobra Kai was the evil. In the original Karate Kid film in 1984, Cobra Kai was the evil dojo, and they had John Kreese, who was their sensei, and he was like he was a military guy and stuff like that. This show actually enlightens you with exposing how John Kreese became who he is.
Yep, they give you a little
and you actually
backstory.
You feel super bad for him. You understand like what he went through. You don't hate him as much as you know you want to, and as much as you know you should. You don't really hate him.
And they did
humanized
it so concise. They didn't make it like a whole mini episode thing, arc or
just
whatever.
Just one episode.
Yeah.
It just took one episode.
Like technically like half of it with a few flashbacks here and there to cut to the chase.
Yep.
Oh, I just love that simplicity. And they do it so well, and it's hard to explain. I'm not doing this justice, but I think you can hear my enthusiasm and how I love it so much.
Right?
And I have rewatched it an embarrassing amount of times. I really have.
I should rewatch it because I've been itching since. It's been at least 2 months since they've ended it, and I've been itching. I've been wanting more, and I remember watching it, and Kaylee was like next to me, and she's like on her phone like she usually is,
right.
and I was just like, fuck this show, fuck this everything, just fuck it all. And she's like, why are you so angry? I'm like, because the show's ended, and I have to wait. The show's ended, and I have to wait, and I don't want to fucking wait.
Yeah.
And I was just like, she's like, God, just go to bed. And I'm like,
that's what I was too. I was mad. I threw my own temper tantrum as well. And then I was like, fuck this. I'm just gonna rewatch it.
Yeah.
Nothing else is gonna live up to this. So I'm just gonna hit play again, and then just do whatever I want while it's in the background and know when to pay attention, when not to.
Yeah. I think that's kind of where I'm at now.
I think I might be alone on this, but the arcs and how they change characters also apply, like Cobra Kai, the dojo, Johnny, Ralph, that Hawk character. How, like in the first couple episodes, Hawk, the Mohawk guy, how he's like a nerdy, he barely can talk or whatever.
He was a pussy, according to Johnny.
He was pussy, and then
he's a little bitch.
Now, where he's at now, it's just
we had this conversation at work,
very huge leap, and the kid either acts so well or the writing's done so well that I just love it. Even though I hate that fucking character in season 2, he's a fucking douche, and then whatever, he eventually learns from that by season 3. But I think I'm just trying to praise how well they do their arcs.
Yeah.
And this character, I'm really excited to see him.
The writing. It's the writing, man. These writers, I don't know if they're veterans or if they're fresh or whatever the fuck I don't know what's going on with these writers, but these writers are just fucking killing it.
There's like 3 of them, and 2 of them, their names are known to me, but for comedy shows and shit, but I can't remember them. I forgot to look them up.
They are just killing it because of the way that the character development is phenomenal. And every single character has their own individual personality, distinctively different, and yet they evolve differently.
Yep.
And Hawk is one of those where he's this nerdy kid who gets bullied because he has a cleft lip, and he has like a scar and stuff like that. And he gets bullied, and that's why he takes martial arts, and he eventually becomes a badass. He becomes the secondary right next to Miguel. Miguel is like the number 1 apprentice of Sensei Johnny Lawrence. He's like the right-hand man kind of thing. and then it becomes Hawk. And he's fueled by anger, and he's fueled by...
He's just like a smart dude that commits. Like when he was a nerd, he was doing the nerdiest shit to the extreme. And then he saw Miguel kick those kids' ass in the cafeteria, which got viral on the YouTube video.
Yep.
And then hence why Hawk joined the class. And then I think he just takes it to the best of his potential is the way I see the character. He's taking...
What he does is he takes it from the Omega to the Alpha.
Yes, okay.
Because he sees that I'm no longer the victim. Now I'm the one who's just...
If you're saying no mercy, then I'm going to give you absolutely no fucking mercy.
Yep.
You know?
And he does it well.
Yep.
But unfortunately, he gets too into it.
Exactly. Even the fact that Johnny's making fun of his lip.
Yeah.
And he's like, if you want people to stop making fun of you,
don't
make a distraction or do something.
Don't let it be a problem.
And he comes back with this fucking epic 80s fucking hair.
Yeah, he gets his hair shaved into a mohawk, and then he gets a tattoo on his back of an eagle too.
Yeah,
eventually.
he just goes 110% with it, whatever the fucking math is.
He basically realized that what he was taking everything that Johnny was saying that goes, hey, you want to be badass, then be badass, and do everything that badass.
Unlike Dimitri, Hawk's best friend when they were nerdy together. You remember Dimitri? Yep. That guy. He's too logical. He holds down or something. And he can't. I love that kid and his character and his slow growth as well.
He's way too nerdy.
Yeah.
He's like nerdy. Like, he's the one that's way too in his...
Nerd.
Yeah, he's way too in his head. He's way too like, but this isn't right. Oh, but this is whatever. Yeah.
And he gets beat up every season, and I love it.
But he develops too.
Once
again, he's one of those characters that you never saw it coming, but eventually he starts to learn martial arts. And so he's on for the other team. So Hawk goes into Johnny Lawrence, so he becomes a Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
And then this Dimitri kid tries to do the Cobra Kai, doesn't like how abrupt it is and how rough it is, so he goes to Ralph Macchio, Danielson. He goes into, I don't remember.
Dojo.
What's the dojo? What's the sensei's name?
Fuck. God damn it. Mr. Miyagi. Dojo.
Miyagi Dojo.
That one doesn't flow off the tongue as well as Cobra Kai. Like, they remind you all the time in the show, that's a badass name for a dojo.
Yeah, it's a Cobra Kai. So Cobra Kai.
Miyagi Dojo.
Miyagi Dojo.
Yeah.
God, it doesn't roll off the tongue.
It doesn't.
You're right. So Miyagi Dojo is one that he goes into, Dimitri goes into, and Ralph Macchio has the hardest time with...
Oh, he does.
Dimitri challenges his patience. And if anybody knows anything about martial arts, that's one thing that martial arts does is it teaches you how to discipline yourself and have patience. Mm-hmm. And Ralph Macchio
talk back the way Dimitri did, that's unheard of.
Oh my God. But he's just like nitpicking and this and that.
Asking
and he's whining. Basically all he's doing is whining.
Yep, absolutely.
And eventually he breaks through though.
Yep.
And it's incredible because when Dimitri gets in the fight in school with his friend, with his best friend, Hawk, when they get in a fight in school, that's when Dimitri realizes that all those lessons that he was learning actually benefited him.
Right, yeah.
Because he was able to block the moves.
Yeah.
And he
all
was
the
able
chores
to...
and shit.
Yeah, and then he turned around and he was able to kick Hawk into the trophy case. Mm-hmm. He got lucky because Dimitri saw him as a weak prey, but yet Dimitri wasn't weak. He thought he was weak too until he started to react.
Right.
It was a beautiful.
Yeah, he did it so well. Like
transition.
this whole epiphany, like, is this really happening?
And then he accepted. He started to accept. And that season 3.
That's just the way he learns.
Yeah. In season 3, there's this horrific fight scene and the
grand finale.
Yeah,
the season finale.
And the Danielson's household. And me and Jason, I think we talked about this. We both realized it's like maybe we're just adults and we're too old, but we realized like how much damage did they fucking do? How much money is that going to cost to replace that shit?
Ralph Macchio has expensive decor and decoration in his house,
his home,
and they're just breaking the shit out of it.
Everything.
And I had to rewatch it because I spent the first time going, "Oh man, fuck, that looks.
That looks
how are they gonna pay
expensive.
for this? This guy's gonna be pissed.
God,
They're just
that
ruining
vase
his
was
house.
probably $500. Oh my God, that fucking window is probably $1,500. I think we both agreed that it's probably easily over like $60,000 worth of
absolutely
fucking material that they destroyed. And
you know, maybe that's one thing he'll learn in Ralph's character arc, just not to waste money on expensive bullshit
stupid
decoration.
Shit, right? And this entire season of season 3, the entire time his wife has been complaining to him about dropping the dojo, and
kind of dropped the ball on that, or however the best way to say it.
All right, so what is one of your most memorable, or at least one of your favorite, I guess, sessions? I don't know, whatever you want to call it. Scene
from the
of Cobra in general, as of all 3 seasons. What is something that you enjoy or you think about the most? So if I say Cobra Kai, what is the first thing that pops in your head?
Well, it's William Zabka and his bottom barrel alcoholic, hilarious, fucking weak status in life. But my favorite scene really is when they're in the mall and Dimitri's like fresh into Miyagi-Do. That stupid fucking kid Robbie and his stupid fucking hair. He's still in Miyagi-Do at the time. Dating,
we haven't even talked about Robbie. Robbie is Johnny
dating that girl that
Lawrence's
dates
kid.
everybody.
Yeah.
But how they have a really good choreographed fight scene in the mall, but how Robbie and whoever Ralph's daughter's name is, they defend Dimitri as they're having the fight, like how they have that kid's back and they know he can't handle himself, and they don't leave him alone. That camaraderie and that team effort. Yeah. I found that to be like a spectacular moment for fighting movies and friendship. I don't know.
So yeah, because
they're not even friends. Maybe that's why I liked it.
I mean, they're working on it.
He's
they're
annoying.
Working on it. Yeah. So yeah, because in Miyagi Dojo they were learning how to work as a unit. And the circular pattern. They were in the pond on the platform, the wooden platform.
So they brought that back as well.
Yep. And they basically, the only way that they could keep this balance in the water is to work together.
Yeah.
And so it was a circular platform, and they had to learn their choreographed move or the martial arts moved, and be able to basically sense each other's movement to work each other out. So it's a very excellent point, or a very excellent moment where you realize that you realize basically that you can't do it on your own, and that having somebody else's back or asking for help without even knowing you need it is a great thing. It's teamwork. It's a perfect analogy for teamwork, or whatever you want.
And I'd never seen anything like that in a martial arts film, or didn't expect to see it in this show. I don't know. It was done really well, and it's something that will always stick with my memory. So I guess that would be my answer.
The best way I relate to that, because you brought it out and I just thought of it, is Smelter. We both work at Smelter. Yes. I feel the same way with Smelter when I was working at DB's in the kitchen, where it was a ballet. It was something that we orchestrated without even knowing that we were orchestrating something, and where we didn't have to communicate. We were able to read, examine, assess the situation that we were dealing with, be able to maneuver and work around each other in a fluid, seamless motion, except for now we have a new guy who's still learning, and we're able to work around there in a busy, 50-person rush.
Yep. I don't know if many people are going to understand the
cook scenario,
that level of stressful degree and intensity that you have to be there to learn it, or to see it to believe it, or whatever. But yes, cooking, ballet, yes, I can't even do it. It's hard to explain, but I completely understand what you're saying, and you're right about that scene, comparing it to moments like that.
That's how I relate to it.
I've had millions moments with him like that as well.
I totally related that scene to that feeling of being like, we have a 50 top. What?
Exactly. It's a one of a kind moment. to where something goes that terrible, but and the end result is it went smooth because of that team effort, and then the training
because of the fluidity, but it also because of the, I guess, the second nature and the sixth sense at the same time.
Yeah.
You're able to read and assess the situation at hand that's given to you, and you're able to adapt and manipulate the surroundings that you're dealing with or that you're presented to at the last call while dealing with somebody, like I said, like a new person. Yeah. That would be Dimitri. That would be the new person.
Yes.
And still being able to pump out that 50 top or whatever in the kitchen on time, with success, with quality food. And it's a beautiful thing.
Right.
But it's also a rare.
I don't even think you could capture how beautiful that is on film. If you were to make that scene.
No, that like, honestly, that is probably the best thing I've ever been able to, because you brought that up, and that's exactly the first thing I thought of.
You're seeing,
that, it's a relative thing. It's a connective force. And it's, I don't know. I know a lot of people don't understand, but anybody who does knows how beautiful and how rare. It's like a snowflake. It literally is like a snowflake. Snowflakes are anomalies in the world, because basically every snowflake is not like the other. No, actually, no snowflake is like the other. And it's just a speck of dust that develops crystallization, that falls to the ground, to the earth, and it's unique. And that's how I feel like it's like a ballet with that crystallization. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying not to
getting
respond
poetic.
to you. Yeah, we're
I'm getting poetic. I'm getting artistic. I'm getting buzzed.
I want to ask you the same question, but you might have already answered it. Is it the end? Is it the when they come together at the dojos, or what's a?
So for me, to answer the question I asked you, the moment, I guess my favorite scene. Oh man, there's so many though. There are several moments that you're just like, damn. That's all I can say is just damn. Like, whether it's good or bad, it's just like, damn. But I have to say that the first initial moment that I go, all right, this is something that seemed pertinent, I guess, was the gas station scene when he's drunk and he's eating gas station pizza and he helps Miguel. And he kicks those guys' asses.
Kicks those teenagers. He kicks kids' asses.
But he takes on 4 of them. Though,
yeah, right.
But I think that was the moment that I always think about, because it is wrong in so many ways.
Right.
But yet, that was the transition. That was the moment. That was the pinnacle point.
Yeah.
Where he goes over and he changes his views. He changes who he is.
Yeah.
And I think that's always stuck with me. But if I really want to say my favorite scene, like the thing that really holds true to me, that I like the most is probably when they're when they're at the park and they're trying to like reestablish the Cobra Kai, and they're trying to come up with a badass name, and
was it American Eagle Fang or something
like that? American Eagle Fang, yeah, something like that. I just think it's funny because they took Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai was a badass name. Yeah, it was a badass name, but we need something better.
Yeah,
and they come up with American. I'm like,
right. And there's some kids like they don't even have fangs. He's like, shut up, and just throws his shirt at him.
Basically, what I think I like about that is because he's so stuck in the 80s. It was so 80s. It was like him trying. He's thinking 80s.
Oh,
like that's the one thing about this show is like I was born in the 80s. I have a small blip of growing up in the 80s, right? But I was a 90s child who loved the 80s.
Right.
And he's totally just the epitome of an 80s person. He just can't escape how great the 80s were.
Even like when he goes to school to win back the students that he left after the staircase accident, and before he's building his new dojo. I think it's American Eagle or something like that. Nope, yeah. I don't want to say that. That's wrong. But he makes this awesome. He's like, I'm sorry, I let you down. It was on me. I'm a piece of shit. Blah blah blah. And then Hawk talks some shit, and he's like, fuck you, Hawk. you wouldn't be this badass without me to begin
Yeah.
with. And then he turns around and then sees some kid with a tray, he smacks it out of the fucking hand. He goes, sorry, kid, old habit.
Yep.
He like can't help
It
himself,
was like
you know.
just some nerdy kid who too that just had like a
And he
pile
felt bad,
of
but he's like, sorry, man, it's old
but he
habit.
just kept walking. Yep. Yeah. The show is fantastic.
Yeah.
No matter what you look at it, the show is well written. It's phenomenal. It's got great character development.
Great jokes.
Yeah, it like one like you said about the beer thing, like that was one of them out of many.
Right.
Like his ignorance is the joke. It's the punchline of everything he does. He's just so ignorant to today's or present.
Yeah, just in his own world, and it's awesome.
Yeah, he's
Somehow,
literally in his
some way.
own world. Yeah, that's exactly it.
Like, my favorite joke is when Dimitri's in the dojo, he's walking through and he's just making fun of the kids, every other kid. And he sees Dimitri, he goes, nice shirt. And Dimitri goes, thanks. He goes, I'm just kidding, it sucks. I don't know why it's so simple, but I laugh out loud every fucking time. Just the way he delivers that shit.
I just love how he's like, yeah, I'm all over the internet. He's like, you can internet that shit. I was just like, what?
With the flyers, he's like, www.cobr.com. Like,
or when he's like, he has his Allie, I think is her name.
Yeah.
Which is, I thought was very connective because
they did really good. I was worried about her introduction because I heard about it for a year, but they did good. But
they
anyways,
did good.
What were you gonna say
Unfortunately,
about her?
my first love was Allie, so it was like,
I crushed on her back in the day. Is that what you're saying? Oh
no. Like my first
Edit
personal
that.
love, his name was Allie. So
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, that's a name that's gonna bring back things I don't want to think about. Anyway, when they brought her back, same thing. I was like, what?
Because she's a doctor. I was like, oh, they're going to bring her back to fix Miguel's back. Lame. And
They
then
didn't do it, though. They didn't.
Then he's reconnecting and disconnecting with Miguel's mom, but finally...
Who's finally as fuck.
She is so gorgeous. And then finally slept with her or whatever, made that commitment. And then the next day, they're like, oh, shit, now we're going to have a love triangle?
Yeah.
Fuck no, they wrote so well.
After. Yep, immediately
Out
after.
of that.
And the entire time, I'm like, don't do it, fucker, don't do it.
And they did not do it.
They didn't
They
do
brought
it.
it to the lines twice, and then they got out of it so well.
They went to a carnival.
Yeah.
And, and
that bench scene probably.
yeah, it was the bench scene where they came close to kissing, but a phone rang.
A nice
it was her
interruption
phone
happened, yep.
And it was beautiful because it didn't happen. And
And then they go, and then they have that other spark when they go to some alley convention.
Yeah, to a country club.
Yes. And then ends up William Zabka because he's Ralph Macchio there with his wife. And
Yep. That was
so
great.
It was
by
an
the way.
accidental spark, and yes.
Yeah,
and
that was great.
Yeah.
Because the way they ended the one episode was like he got jealous. Like Johnny walks in
then they
and
busted
they're
out
hugging
the other perspective on
because
the next
Ralph Macchio
episode.
dated for a little bit, basically stole. So Allie,
that's how they sum
Allie
it up.
is the catalyst
Yep.
for why Johnny and Ralph or why Johnny and Danielson hate each other. She's the catalyst. She's the reason why it happened.
And then she also shuts down that theory in that episode.
Yes, it was brilliant. It's like, God, you guys need to get over shit.
You guys are like should be best friends. You're more alike than you think.
Yup. It's basically like Step Brothers.
Yeah.
With Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly. It was exactly that.
Just a little more
They hate
logical.
each other until they realize that they're best friends. Are we best friends? Should we go do karate in the garage? Like, that's exactly how it was. Like, that's to a T. That's how it's been.
So many more room for activities
Yep.
at Mojo Do.
And
Mojo
now-
fucking Miyagi Do.
And now there is. And now we have to wait.
Yep.
We have to play the waiting game, which I'm not good at doing. I fail at the waiting game.
I don't see how. You have no choice, first of all.
But I still fail.
But at least
I hate it. I'm not okay with it.
So at least you're probably the guy when season 4 comes out, you'll rewatch from season 1 till season 4, probably, right? No?
What I do is I binge watch season 4 in one day, and then I get pissed off that there's no more seasons, and then I go, okay, well, if I want anything to deal with this, I have to go watch season 1.
Yeah.
And then eventually I stop watching because I'm like, I already know all this shit.
Oh.
So
yeah, I don't know how to help you.
Yeah. No, I'm
but they are
screwed.
shooting or done shooting season 4 as we speak.
Why isn't it out yet?
Right.
I want to watch it. I will say, like, there are only a couple shows that I felt okay with watching. Like, Supernatural was one of those, and I mentioned it in a previous podcast where I felt like it was always there. And then when they ended the season, I felt super empty. Like, the final season of Supernatural, I'm like, I feel empty inside.
Well, I thought you said they ended it well.
They did.
Okay, but you were just feeling like you didn't want it to end.
It was the most appropriate ending that could ever happen for a series, especially that lasted so long.
Yeah.
But I felt empty inside. I felt like
you
there's
were
a hole.
afraid to say goodbye?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, but I always knew it was going to be there. Now it's not. So I can't just take 5 years off. And it's like I felt like I just broke up with something. Because I basically did. I had a relationship with Supernatural for 15 fucking years. And now it's just done. So.
I can't think of it. Yeah. I've definitely had that incorrect attachment to television shows as well. Incorrect.
This is kind of how I feel.
No, that's awesome.
Just kind of how I feel for certain things. But
hence why you have this podcast. Anyways, I think we can sum it up.
Conclusive. Watch the show. That's all we're saying. Basically, watch Cobra Kai. It's fantastic. Keep it going because your vote counts. Unlike the political toll.
And you don't need to watch do you think that people need to watch the original movies
Okay, so this is my take because I believe that somebody brought this up to me too. You should watch Karate Kid. You only need to watch the first one.
Okay, yeah.
You can watch the other ones because they do kind of like flashback and whatever. You don't need to watch the originals to still enjoy the show.
Still get it,
because they do pretty much lay everything out for you. Mm-hmm. But if you want to truly understand the essence of the show, watch at least the first Karate Kid.
Yeah,
if
I'll
anything,
agree
watch
with
the
that.
first 2 Karate Kids, and then you're solid. Mm-hmm. Because then you'll understand character development and stuff like that. But for the most part,
and the flip.
Yeah, you'll like really feel the understanding of where these characters are coming from. But you can pretty much pick it off right away and go, okay, because they lay everything out. A lot of it has to do with flashbacks, but a lot of it they tell you, hey, I fucking hate you, man.
Yeah. So yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
So yeah, you can enjoy it without watching it, but I do feel like it's something that I would suggest to get more into it, to understand a lot more of the show.
Depth, yeah.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
It's basically, it's like watching or reading a book or whatever, like if you read halfway through the series, you might still enjoy it, but it'd be nice to know how it started. So, because Karate Kid is an origin story, and the show is a continuation.
It's true.
But,
all right,
I give it a 5-star.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm a pretty harsh critic, but I give it a 5-star. Like, this is a fantastic show, and I can't wait for more. I hope they keep going for another 7 years, at least. Hopefully, maybe not that long, because I don't know how much more they can get.
Exactly. They're running out of
5 years. 5 is good.
Yeah,
I'm okay with 5. I can.
Yeah,
that seems appropriate.
But if anyone could figure out 7, these people probably can, or writers. They're just doing so well. So
that's true.
And the whole thing's make believe and a fun ride. So fuck it, I'll watch all of them all the time. All right,
I agree. This is Timothy Bennett here.
This is Jason Chantler,
and this is B&B Banter Bros Go to the Movie. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you later.
Peace. Bye.